Too late. Hello, we are back doing
Hello.
House of the Dragon episode
No,
7.
7.
Episode 7. Now, once again, I've been naughty and I've not watched this one yet.
All right, I'm just gonna flick over to the correct episodes notes, and we'll go from there.
Lovely stuff.
So I believe this episode is called the sowing of the blood, or the blood sowing, or something like that.
Okay, I'm intrigued
it's
already.
Another name for the sowing of the seeds, which
The dragon seeds.
yes, the dragon seeds. It's because of how many people died in the process, which I will come on to later on and will make sense. So we start our opening intro. There is obviously a bit of a recap, as they like to do, and then have a theory.
Yes.
So last episode, a guy grabs Alicent, gets his hand cut off.
He does.
I think that is the shepherd.
Who is the shepherd?
So the shepherd will only come into it in, I think, towards the back end of the last episode, the last series. The shepherd is just a commoner. You never find anything out about him. He's a commoner from King's Bottom. That's a mixture of King's Landing and Flea Bottom.
Yep.
And he basically starts an uprising where thousands of commoners of lowbones storm the dragon pit and kill loads of the dragons.
Jesus.
One tries to fly away. I do forget which one. I apologise. Smashes the roof and it all crumbles and definitely wipes them all out. They all, 99.9% of them die in the process. Claws, teeth, fire, death. But it's another reason why a lot of the dragons die, the big dragons.
Okay.
So I think
I didn't know that
is
at all.
because it made a point of showing you that the hand had been removed.
Yeah.
Really, if it was nothing, it could have just been a slash, move on. But the fact that they did that, to me, suggests, actually, yeah.
I like a Thule theory. Because more often than not, they end up right.
Well, we'll see with that one. And then you get the next thing, intro, and then you are slammed into Adam of Hull on the beach
With Rhaenyra.
With Rhaenyra. He's with Sea Smoke. She's with Cyrax.
Lovely.
And they are having a bit of a face-off. She doesn't really know what's going on.
She's weighing him up.
Yes.
Okay.
And the dragons are kind of at each other, as
Yeah.
my terrible dragon impression goes. And he basically just bends the knee. He's like, I'm here
Does
for my
he?
queen. Yeah, immediately. I'm here for my queen. He is, the bastard son of Corlys Valerion. So, his house has declared his dad is Hand of the King, Hand of the Queen, I should say. Sorry. So fair enough.
It's good to know that his allegiance is also there as well, though. He doesn't see his his removed father as
and
horrible
later
man.
on, you see an interaction between them where he goes, do you reckon? So she said, because he can't speak Valyrian, and the dragons only speak Valyrian.
Right. Okay.
So the later on, she basically Queen Rhaenyra says, do you reckon you can get her back to, or get him back to Dragonstone? I'll try. They basically just follow her. And then like later on from that, the Maester's like outraged. The dragon keepers are not happy at all that a low bond's on a dragon. That bond's made now. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah. Why are they throwing a fit? It's tough.
Because it's always been a House Targaryen thing. It's always there's history, there's prestige, there's honor behind it. A lot of people, the dragon keepers, don't forget, they're almost like a religious order.
Yeah, it's
they
like
see the dragons as almost deities.
like a cult.
Yeah, a very useful dragon keepy cult. But yeah,
So we get Alan taking Sea Smoke back to Dragonstone.
so yeah. And then when Adam Hull's there, he basically says to his dad later on in the episode, like, I'd like to relinquish my duties as a shipbuilder, and he just goes, stop, it's done. He immediately recognises that he's a cracking shipbuilder, but he's a dragon rider now, and that shit wins.
This is important.
And he kind of hints and then moves on. So, and then again, later on in the episode, you see Alan, the bald one, who's got the white hair, and Corlys goes up to him and says, like, your brother's claimed a dragon, why don't you try and do it? And he says, I am Salt and Smoke. Or Sea and Salt, something,
Yeah. So he's of the
I've
sea.
actually made a note of that. You read it, sorry. He says, I am Salt and Sea, which reminded me of when Baylor says it too. When he tries to make her his heir.
Yeah.
And she says, like, you need someone that's sea and salt. I am fire and blood.
Yeah.
So
he's going to be called this as a
basically. So in the spoiler alert, in the books, he basically begs Queen Rhaenyra to legitimize them both and make them true Velaryons.
Right.
And she says, yeah, okay, fair enough. Because Lucerys, her youngest, was the heir to the Driftwood throne. He's now gone. Jacaerys cannot be the Driftwood throne. And it's just not the done thing, the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
So he needs another one. He ain't go get one from anywhere. So, so they're both legitimized. And that's how that kind of goes down.
Cool. Like it.
Then you see a scene where Alicent is cut. I forget where she gets the cut from, and the maester's dabbing it, and she basically makes this comment of being dutiful and how it's never got her anywhere, and she's quite clearly got this really dark resentment. Again, I'm flipping around a little bit on story beats here, but she does have maybe an attempt on her own life later on, where she ends up floating in the river, and she only takes one guard, but she changes her mind. So quite a dark episode for Alicent. She's not in it a lot, but I think it's really important for her character development.
She's fed up of Aemond, isn't she?
Yeah. Do you think because of that, do you think the little dalliance with Kristen Cole was a bit of a rebellious thing rather than a lustful thing?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
he's never got her anywhere being the good.
I'm glad it's over now, or it seems to be over.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was good. It made its point, but
tedious.
Yeah. Then you see Larys, and another lord who's on the council, who I apologise, name I've forgotten. And the lord tells him about Sea Smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Says and he goes, "Where's this whisper come from?" He goes, "Oh, do you want to tell the king you're the master of whisperers?" And he goes, "No, it's your whisper, not mine."
Yeah.
He says, "Well, where did you get the information from?" And I can't work out whether this is part of his actual vetting process, because his entire name is based on him being correct with his information, or whether he's just a snaky bugger and hates Aemond. But either way, he says, "Oh, well, I got told by such a body who got told by such a body whose dad's a fisherman, and the fisherman's deckhand saw Sea Smoke was right." And he goes, "Maybe this is one of those whispers that should stay on the wind."
Yeah.
So I can't work out whether it's a bit too vague, that a bit wishy-washy, or actually, I just think he hates Aemond. The reason I think he hates Aemond is because he's backing Aegon very much to get back on his feet.
Yeah.
He's now got more in common with him with the physical issues and limitations that they both have.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a kindred spirit in that. And he put a lot of groundwork in with Aegon before he got injured as well.
Yeah, you can't manipulate Aemond anywhere near as much as Aegon.
Not at all. And then, so next bit I wanted to talk about is pretty much after that, you see the White Worm, and she's talking about Adam of Hull, and Rhaenyra's like, maybe I need to look further afield with the lords and this, that, and the other. And she goes, "You're looking in all. You're not going to find it there. You should look under the sheets and in the wood piles," which is a line of mushrooms directly from the book, which is basically making a comment on
look for the bastards.
The bastards. They're just seeds everywhere. Slight difference from the books is that pretty much all of the dragon seeds are on Dragonstone. In the series, a lot of them are in King's Landing.
Yeah.
Which is why they send boats later on. Read the word she hit, so she's like, "You should go to the small folk." Rhaenyra's like, "Oh, but with the lords comes, nobility, honor, loyalty." And she goes, "Oh, well, your half brothers are about as highborn as it gets. You honestly say they've been loyal or honourable?"
Yeah.
So she twists around. She then uses her little spy in King's Landing, the girl that got paid off.
Yeah.
In season 1, because Aegon was horrible. And she spreads the word. Okay.
Love it. Yeah.
Then you do a huge swing over to Harrenhal, and you see Grover Tully. So remember the young Tully that was like, "I love my grandsire"?
Yeah.
He's back now. His granddad's dead.
Yep. And Aemon.
No, not Grover Tully. Oscar
Tully.
Oscar Tully.
The other Muppet.
Yeah, and they're all based on Sesame Street characters, as you know. They have a bit of back and forth. He's still a young lad, but he's like, I am also the Lord of Harrenhal now, so I'm not a Lord of Riverlands. You're not having your own way. and he gives it to Damon a little bit, and he makes a comment of, "I am green for this, as you know." Well, Oscar the Grouch was green, so I thought that was quite cool. But then they have in the Weirwood Grove.
Yep.
They have a showdown with all the High Lords of the Riverlands and Oscar Tuller, and he basically says, "We're river folk. We're nothing if we're not to our word. And yeah, he's awful. We didn't actually swear to him, and he's done awful things." And then he says, maybe to, there's a lot of backwards and forwards. He grows up and I like it when he has a bit of a pop at Damon again later on. He goes, Damon's like, "Careful, boy," and he goes, "Will you have my army or not? Don't forget," and I like it. He said, "Don't forget, you need me more than I need you. Yeah, you might burn me, but you won't." You know what I mean?
He's not just like keeling over and letting it happen kind of thing.
Not at all. But Damon gets a bit of a wry smile on his face, as if like he kind of respects the young kid, which is quite nice. And I think this shows that there's a bit of a meeting in the middle of Rhaenyra and Damon. Damon's softening a little bit because of what he's experiencing at Harrenhal.
Because he's tripping. And then Rhaenyra's also getting a little bit more fierce with it and saying, like, "I want to go," like holding swords. She wore something in this episode which was very reminiscent, not the same, but very reminiscent of Daenerys' overcoat. She had on riding Drogon when she burnt King's Landing to the ground. Yeah, the furry thing.
Yeah, with the collars and the black crossovers. It was very reminiscent of that, and I think it's that, she's a bit of imagery there. Yeah. And he basically says, "Look, you need to make amends. You gave the Blackwoods this instruction. You're bang out of order. You need to fix it." And I think he's bang on because the Blackwoods were happy enough. And he's like, "I only did what," and the Blackwood, he grips it. He sees him and his guards running. This is still the kid, this. And he was like, "I only did what my king commanded." And he was like, "No, you were more than happy to do those atrocities." And he basically demands that Damon dish out justice. So Damon just gets out Dark Sister and cuts his head off.
Nice.
To prove to the River Lords that I will listen to you a little bit, and there is a bit of justice in me. A bit of, again, a bit more character development.
Like, he's not here just to be a tyrant with no kind of backup or out like that. He's got some kind of honour in him still, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little bit of proving that. He then goes back into Harrenhal, and that bloody black goat's there, which is always there when there's magic about or he's tripping. And then you see Viserys at the final stage of his life, sat on a bed. Leprosy's got hold of him, if that is the issue that he's got, and he's got the crown in his hand, and he's like trying to give it to him, and he goes like, "Are you sure you still want this?" He's like, "I never wanted it. It crushes it under anyone underneath it. Like, it's the biggest weight in the kingdom." And Damon actually is apprehensive and doesn't take it and stuff. So again, I think maybe he's realising, I've been striving for this my entire life. Maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Just trying to be the Lord of Harrenhal was hard.
He's finally having that reconciliation with his brother, isn't he? I guess.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean,
no, he's not. But in his head, he is.
In his head, he is.
Yeah, he's been taught lessons by his version of Viserys. That it's his conscience, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah.
It's his little cricket. Then you go over to King Aegon, who's having essentially physiotherapy with the Grand Maester.
Okay.
Trying to help him across the room. They have compressed this storyline a lot. In the books, he's on Milk of the Poppy and bedbound for a year.
Right.
So they're condensing it a lot. But they've admitted that they've had to do time compression.
Yeah.
Because nothing really happens for that 12 months. That one's building their army, so's the other. It's not telly.
It's like a game of chess.
Yeah, and Larys comes in and he's like, even though he's obviously not the best on his feet, he tries to help him.
Yeah.
Because he falls and he's like crying and he's like screaming in agony. Then you see Rhaena, who's Baela's sister, who's in the Arryn. Up with the Erie's the castle, yeah. She's in, the Eyrie, yeah. She's in the Eyrie.
She's with the Arryns.
Lady Arryn kind of like gets rid of her because she's said you can go over to Pentos, I think.
Well, last I saw of her, she saw evidence of sheep stealer.
Yeah, so I said to you, didn't I, at the time, that they're going to condense Nettle's storyline into it. That's exactly what they're doing.
Right,
She ran off. This time, it even more confirmed it was sheep stealer because you get a close-up of a charred sheep skull. And sheep stealer's big.
Right.
Not Rhaegar big, but
Close.
probably the 5th biggest dragon if you also include the cannibal that never gets tamed. The cannibal's a coal black dragon.
Yeah.
Green eyes, I think, that lives on Dragonstone. Eats the hatchlings and the eggs and stuff. Yeah, so doing that definitely. And then Jacaerys and his mum are talking for a bit, and Rhaenyra, and he's got a massive issue with the dragon seeds, which again is the opposite to the books. He's the one that suggests the bastards.
He backs it.
Yeah. But I liked it actually. I like the change because he basically says, "This is all I've got." It's like, did you not? And he's the first time he's pointed about his lineage with his mum, and he says, "Did you not think I could come out with dark hair when you took Lord Strong to your bed?
Yeah.
Did you never consider the ramifications of it?" Like, basically, he gets a bit upset. He's like, "I've been mocked all my life." He doesn't say this word for word, but the vibes of it is like, "I've been mocked all my life for this and I've dealt with it. The only thing that legitimizes me as a Targaryen is the fact that I'm a dragon rider, and now you're just letting anybody do it. You're letting bastards do it. It's like you're reinforcing that I'm not legitimate in a roundabout way." And he's still quite young and he gets upset. And his mum's like...
His mum's like, "It's fine."
Yeah. I have a picture. I don't know why I'm like this. I have a picture that you need to put in now because it's going to be a surprise for people. So this is mainly in the UK. If you've ever watched The Phone Shop, not my favourite comedy ever, the little nerdy guy in Phone Shop, which is going to be this guy.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll do it again.
You need to send me this.
This guy is Ulf the White.
Okay.
The sot, as they call it, the drunken sot, who's been in the pub the whole time going, "Yeah, I'm a bastard Targaryen." Yeah, he looks so different as the guy from Phone Shop.
Okay. Yeah, I'll drop that in, obviously.
But yeah, it moves to him, and the word's out that Rhaenyra's recruiting Targaryen bastards, and it's kind of now time to, well, it's time to do the do. You know what I mean? You've been talking about it for years, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know how much of the story I've been telling is true, and I'm just saying what I've been told," and he's really apprehensive. And then his mates are basically like, "No, you are. You can't have sat here with all these people, getting free drinks and getting everybody rowdy about the fact that you know, and now when it comes to the crunch, you shit yourself."
Yeah.
Sound like the Mighty Boosh then. You know nothing of the crunch.
Never watched the Boosh.
He took a little day trip round the crunch.
He's finally got to grow a bit of a spine and put his mouth where his money is. His money where his mouth is.
Either. Twice.
Yeah.
And then you go to Hugh Hammer. So this is a very who's going to be the Dragon Rider and Dragon Seed heavy episode. So you got Rhaena. It's confirmed Adam didn't get eaten. He started to ride Sea Smoke. You've got Ulf the White, and then you go to Hugh Hammer.
Okay.
His daughter died. Sad. I know, sad.
Spoiler.
I mean, yeah, spoiler, but it's more for him.
But he's already
but he's now furious.
Yeah, he's very disenchanted with the crown, isn't he?
Very, very much so. And his wife's giving it, "We should go to Tumblestone, where my cousin lives or her brother lives, and he'll give you a job and he'll do this." And he's like, "No, you won't turn me beggar. I'm not doing it. And if I do this, and they'll make you a lady, we'll have money, we'll have land, everything will be fine."
Mm-hmm.
His wife doesn't want him to go. It's like, "Yeah, but it's a dragon, you Burke." So he goes anyway.
Of course he does.
Just a side note about who he actually is. Because there is a story that it is confirmed why he is a legitimate Targaryen. His mum was called Ciara Targaryen. Basically, she was the daughter of Jacaerys and Princess Alysanne. The good King Jacaerys, the old King Jacaerys, was his granddad. His granddad rode Vermithor, and his grandma rode Silverwing.
So his granddad was
the king at the very first episode.
Dad.
No, for Viserys, he didn't have a direct heir. That's why they did the Great Council of 101 AD.
Okay.
So that'll be relevant in a moment, but he is a legitimate. Basically, she was like a bit promiscuous around Flea Bottom. She liked going with the commoners. So good King Jacaerys, as he's called in his infinite wisdom, like disinherited her cut her out the family. In the books, it's rumored that she went over to the Free Cities and became a madam of a whorehouse and became a name like a lady in her own right. She became super minted. In the show, she stayed in King's Landing and became a lady of the night.
Right.
And that's why he is who he is. He's half Targaryen, so he is a lot stronger in blood.
Yeah.
His granddad was a king. You know what I mean?
He's fully half Targaryen. No dilution or out like that.
So yeah, and then all of the dragon seeds get on boats in the middle of the night, and they all go over to Dragonstone. Your next scene of import is the big plinth where they summon dragons to
inside the cave.
Inside the cave, all the dragon seeds are there, and Rhaenyra is giving this speech like, "You could die. If you don't, you get lands and titles. This is, all down to you guys. Over to you." She leaves. Watch, like she does it. Emma Darcy does it incredibly more justice than I will,
of course.
But it's basically a bit of a pet talk. Look, it's either do or die. You don't have to, but if you want to try, and she goes back inside and goes up and onto like a viewing platform quite far back.
Yeah.
Before she does, she's literally just like, "Oi, Vermithor," summons the second biggest dragon in the world. Well, not the second biggest dragon that either of the factions own in Vermithor now. And he's come here. And he's like, he's fuming. And I love, because he's old. Not as old as Nana, as she's called by David is Lightbringer, or Lightbringer on YouTube, which is a great name. But he is old. They've kind of done like a granddad beard in horns on him, which looks incredible. He's got like a big scar on his lip, big chunk missing from an old battle. Like he is a really old, experienced hard dragon. And she's like, "Obey." Like she proper bollocks him like a puppy. And he starts making the same cooing noise that Drogon made when he went up to Jon Snow. Like they could detect the blood in her.
Yeah.
And he's quite calm. And then she walks away and everything changes. And he just goes ballistic. But he knows why he's there. He's not stupid. He knows why he's there. Dragons are exceptionally intelligent, almost as intelligent as people. And he puts his head out over them all. Kind of like,
having a nosy.
Everybody, and then he gets to Hugh Hammer and goes, carries on moving. I think there was a little pause. Might have imagined that, but I think there was a little pause. Eats everybody, sets everyone on fire. I think when you watch it, he always avoids Hugh Hammer though. Like there's a bit where he's burning people and then they all start running. And he goes for Hugh. But he only goes in with his mouth once Hugh hammers down the steps. Then he chomps, right? Timing could have been a coinky dink. I don't think so. In the process of swinging his head about, he knocks Ulf the White off. Ulf the White gets up, grabs a torch, and gets off into the cave. It's like, I don't know what that way, but I know what's there. So I'm just going, me. Anyway, Ulf the White bombing through, ends up falling, stumbling, and then Silverwing appears. Silverwing was, or is, arguably, the mate of Vermithor. So Jaehaerys and Alicent were together, and their dragons were together, Vermithor and Silverwing.
Right.
So Ulf the White goes, and basically, a bit like Adam of Hull, he's on his back, and the dragon just comes over. He's like and ahhing, and then just lowers. He tames her. She picks him. I find it really interesting because it's changing a lot of what we know about that ritual. Turns out the dragons have got a lot more say than you'd think.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra Targaryen tried to claim sea smoke years ago. When she was 14, he tried to kill her. And she's, full Targaryen. Valyrian. She's Valyrian and Targaryen.
Yeah.
And again, so Vermithor, really cool, big horny beard. Silverwing's got almost like a crown of thorns, like the good Queen Alicent had a crown. Fantastic imagery.
Does that affect how Vermithor acts going forward?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. It just again reinforces that bond. Their riders were in love, so were they. Between dragon and rider, they do rub off on each other.
Yeah.
So the next thing you find, that first flight is super important for the bond. If they floor you off, you die anyway. But it's an issue. Ulf the White does it and just can't control her at all, and ends up just like bombing round the roof. Like ends up back in King's Landing, just shitting everybody up. It's like and then she goes. Absolutely, like Falcon dives with him on the back, and he goes like. And that's when the bond kicks in, I think. As soon as he starts enjoying it, because it does actively change your personality, it makes you a lot more, your blood's up, you know, you're a lot more feisty, sexually promiscuous, like a lot of, not promiscuous as such, but driven in every facet of life.
Yeah.
A lot of them become a lot bigger as characters. Anyway, that's that. The bonding of Vermithor. Turns out, you know, they're all running around like mad, and Hugh Hammer is behind a rock with this woman, and he's like looking, and he goes, right, come with me. Drags her. She runs off. I think he stumbles. Something happens. They get separated. She's over there, like looking directly at Vermithor, like one-on-one. Vermithor's known as the Bronze Fury. He's not a calm dragon. Right. He is. He's old enough to be chilled, but when you rile him, he is proper angry.
Okay.
If you've wound him up, he sees red and just goes ballistic. And he basically saves this woman's life, Hugh Hammer, and he's like, "Oi!" Over it, and Vermithor turns, goes towards him like one-on-one. And he's like, "I'm ready. Come on then." And as Vermithor starts to roar, he goes, "Ah!" And like proper, like really animated, shouts him down, and Vermithor looks back and goes, puts his nose out. And like, I swear, I might imagine there's a little cheeky smile on Vermithor's face. I think it's someone that matches his energy.
It's like training a big dog, you know, big, like a mastiff. You've got to rise to him.
Yeah, definitely. And then so that's the big thing. And then the final scene, because it's just Ulster White to Burke. But he's a comedian, the actor's a comedian, so his comic timing will be quite good. So he's doing it, oh, shit the bed, I'm bombing around, can't cope with this. Manages to get her back under control and head back towards Dragonstone. Yeah. Dragonstone and King's Landing aren't close, but they're not a million miles away. On Dragonback, they're close.
Yeah, I've seen it on the map. They're
straight
not
line,
that
they're not far. On Dragon, like by shape, couple of days. Dragonback, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Aemond, get my horse. Runs down the stairs, straight on the horse, out. I mean, he has to go outside the castle because Vhagar's too big for the dragon, like way too big for the dragon pit. And that's how big Vhagar is. We know that, but Maylis could fit in there. Maylis was massive. That's how big the dragon pit underneath is huge. So she's just like asleep in a field, and as soon as she knows he's coming, she's up and looking around like, what we doing, boss? On his back. Elf for leather at Dragonstone, like an arrow. Shits himself when he gets there. She turns around because, like, waiting for him on the top of the Dragonstone itself, the castle, the keep. I think it's either Sea Smoke or Silverwing. I'm not sure. I don't think Ulf the White would be able to control her that much yet. So it's probably Sea Smoke perched on top. Vermithor out and about.
With Hugh
Hammer, and then Rhaenyra at the front with Syrax behind her, and he just goes, "Oh shit! Turn, Vhagar, turn!" and banks her back round and goes back. That's the end of the episode.
You turn. I like
because Vhagar's massive. Vermithor's also massive,
but not tech on 3 dragons at once. Massive.
She'd do Vermithor. She might even do Vermithor and Sea Smoke at a push. She definitely wouldn't do Vermithor, and I don't think she'd do Vermithor and Syrax. Syrax is rapid.
Yeah.
I think is it Silverwing or Sea Smoke is aggressively agile, like one of the most agile. And Silverwing's big. She's a big she dragon. Sea Smoke's not that big. Sea Smoke is a little bit smaller than Arax, but it doesn't matter. Her diving in and out.
Yeah, causing mayhem.
And then one-on-one between Vhagar and Vermithor. Vhagar wouldn't stand a chance. So it's completely shifted now because, they've got the biggest, but they've not got the numbers, and Sunfire's dead. Yeah. So the only other one that they've got is Dreamfire, which is Helena's. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think she ever battles with her. She's just not that way inclined at all.
Yeah, she's just a dreamer, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's cool as fuck.
It's a really good episode. Really, really good episode.
Can't wait to watch it.
People keep slagging it off like it's all build up. Well, yeah, but you can't have a massive battle every episode and it's a civil war. Don't forget, the entire
first 4 or 5 episodes of Game of Thrones, because I'm rewatching it at the minute, until Battle of Blackwater. Then that was it for that series.
A lot of Game of Thrones was just episode 9 waiting.
Yeah, political build up. It was, and it's important. So yeah, there you go.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm looking
let us
forward
know
to
what
seeing.
you think in the comments below, please.
Absolutely do. And
do
chuck
you
us.
find it, and again, like, by all means, just slag off the Harrow and Hall storyline. It's doing my head in. No, but if for any of you that was watching us on Twitch this evening, I'm going to say it again. For everybody that's watched any of our shorts, any of our videos, dropped a like, a comment, absolutely anything, especially over this weekend. We've been blown away yet again. I really can't thank you enough, and I'm sure Tom will reciprocate that.
It's
the
very
support
lovely
that we're getting. Yeah, it's just put a massive smile on our face. I've even told my mum. So the wife's sick of hearing about it, but yeah, we're just two fellas that try and do something to entertain you, and the fact that you're watching means the world. So thank you very much.
We just talk nerdy shit regardless, and thought we'd record it.
Pretty much that, yeah.
Yeah. Right, drop us a sub and a like and a comment on this week's episode if you choose to do so, and we will catch you next week.
Cheers, everybody.
See you later.